Good afternoon, Tom Ginn and
Mark Gassert.
Elevate Your Profits. We'll be right back. Here we are. We are live. Mark, how are you doing today, bud?
Oh man, that's scary. We're live. No, I'm doing great. Had a fantastic weekend. Got to see my brother. He's a survivor of an aneurysm, by the way. So it's always good to catch up, and I got to see him face to face. He lives in Mobile, Alabama. Had a great time, and as always, I enjoy talking to his wife, who's a one of those PhD types. She teaches at a major university there. I guess I can say it. USA, University of South Alabama. So she's well known and published and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it was a great time.
Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, being connected with family is so important. But what I'd like to do, Mark, is I'll have you just sort of start to tell us why we do Elevate Your Profits, and then we're going to introduce our guest. I'm really excited today.
Oh, very much. Yeah, elevate your profits. I've often said, and Tom shared this as well. It can be about, dollars and cents. It could be about someone that's an entrepreneur. It could be about someone that's a solopreneur, someone that's out there driving things, as I say, shaking it up and making things happen. And then on the other side of that equation could be people with a cause, something they're very passionate about. We've had people that are authored on this show. We've had people that are disciples of Napoleon Hill. I won't mention his name, BFG3. And tonight, is really going to be cool because now we're going to talk about wellness, health, cellular health, and, networking and next level marketing and all that cool stuff. And, that's really what this show's all about, is letting people come out here and sharing their story and their purpose.
Well, thanks, Mark. Great job. Our whole, like I said, our whole mission is everything from our mindset to the bank account and everything in between. And we've been blessed to have some very significant people come in to share their secret sauce, as I call it, to help people better understand what it takes to win in business. I've been an entrepreneur since 1983. I'm a big proponent of, when I was in the financial service industry, the original company today at Citigroup was A.L. Williams, is a network marketing company. And I recognized the leverage it gave me in residual passive income long-term, which got me excited. Tonight, I'm really excited to bring in somebody that's associated with our corporate sponsor. That little video that we played out there, Asia. She's a little bit about herself. She's from Australia originally. She's now, I'll let her share where she's living now. But she's been in network marketing for quite a while, and I'll let her tell her short story. But we're going to feature her in her book today. And I know we got some questions to pose her as we go through here. The 10 things I wished I'd known about network marketing before I got started. I believe the principles, these 10 principles you talk about, would apply to any type of business that you have. It's not just network marketing. It's the mindset and the processes. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in Cristina. Are you ready, Cristina?
There she is. I'm here. Hi. Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. It's a real pleasure.
It's our honor. And our pleasure. So
it's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
The way we like to start it out is a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a little bit about, this is an amazing story, and the number of children you have and what you're able to do with this business as well. There's no excuses. If 7 children would be a reason not to succeed, that would be it. So why don't you go ahead and tell your story, where you're from, and your why about what we're talking about why you wrote the book.
Thank you. Yes, well, it's when people ask me where you're from, my response is usually depends when you're asking, because I am a little bit of a citizen of the world. I was born in Central America, El Salvador. So then I went through as a 10-year-old to Australia as a refugee when the Civil War hit the capital of San Salvador. So then I grew up the rest of my childhood in Australia. I spent a lot of my 20s in Europe. I also feel like France is my second home. But now we live in America, in Arizona. So yeah, so we spent a lot of time in Australia, a lot of time in France and South America, obviously. And now I am very excited to say I am settled here in Arizona with my amazing husband and our 7 boys, ages ranging from 18 through 6 months. And you're right, it is tough to get things done. You really have to learn to work in focused bursts. And I don't think people would believe me if they saw sometimes what my work conditions are like. It's usually a baby in one arm, a laptop in the other, a telephone on speaker. You know, you really have to learn to multitask. I've become very resourceful, but I guess the reason here has always been I've been motivated to change. And when people say, you know, how do you do all that with all those kids? My answer is I do all this because of my 7 kids. My original entry into network marketing was in my 20s when I first had my 4 boys, my first 4 sons. And I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. But I didn't want to sit around and do nothing, professionally speaking. I wanted to advance myself. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to impact other people's lives. And that's not to say that as a mother, you're not impacting someone's life, because it is, I believe, the most important job. But I also felt that part of my job as a mom was to show my children how to pursue my own personal dreams and passions. I really felt that was part of my role as a parent. So I always had my own pursuits. And thanks to our first network marketing company, my first husband and I were able to be stay-at-home parents for 10 years. You know, it shows in those children that we traveled the world with them, that we were very present, those relationships. I'm just so grateful we were able to do that. And then unfortunately we separated, we got divorced. And because of that and many other reasons, we ended up also losing our business. And I don't know if people listening or if you guys have had those times in your life where one thing goes bad and then it seems to be like a domino effect, and you're in this kind of whirlwind of everything. You're like, we lost the house, we lost the business. My ex's his best friend died. We lost family. We obviously, our divorce was very hard on both of us. It was just like, whoa, wait, what happened here? And you kind of just brace yourself through this storm. And when the storm spat me out, I was at that stage in my early 30s, single mom, no income. We had lived very well, but we both recognized we had not followed very good financial principles. And we just assumed that it was going to rain money forever. And so we both found ourselves, and these were lessons we had to learn. We both found ourselves in a situation where we had no money, no savings, and I had no education, no other business background. So I started my own traditional business. I was juggling 2 other jobs as well, really just to try and sustain myself. And for around 8 years, I realized that traditional business world was just not how I wanted to live. I never saw my children. It was like the dark night. I would drop my children off at daycare. I never saw them. I never had any money to do anything. We couldn't travel. It was just a life of limitation. And if someone says money is not important, I would agree with them, but I would say it's not money that's important. Choices are important. Choices like, what kind of food am I buying? Can I afford a new pair of shoes for my son? Can we afford to go away for Christmas? Can I get the medical care that I really need? Choices are important. And after 8 years of not having choices, somebody approached me with a new opportunity. And I really was one of those people that was like, I've done network marketing. It's been done. I know it works, but I just don't have it in me to climb that mountain again. And I started again in network marketing, not because I wanted to. I was really clear that there was zero part of me that wanted to, zero part of me that was excited. I went back in because I knew there was nothing that could give me the lifestyle like network marketing can. I was convinced. I had done my life with it, without it. I had had jobs. I was in the corporate world. I was managing director of a firm for a while. I had tried running my own business. Like I did everything to escape network marketing. And nothing that I tried gave me the lifestyle of having my own business from home. So I went back in, and within a couple of years, I was back to having a cash flow that allowed me to live from wherever I wanted to live. We moved to the south of France with the kids. You know, obviously, I remarried. It's allowed me to be again a stay-at-home mom to my new baby, to travel when we want, to have the funds, have the finances. So as you can appreciate, I'm a pretty big believer in this industry.
What do you say to those individuals about network marketing? There's a lot of myths and a lot of misconceptions. What do you tell people what network marketing is in relationship to some of the other options people have for being in business? What do you share?
You know, I usually tell a little story because I think a lot of our opinion just comes back from our preconceptions, right? Maybe like the fact that we tried something once, or we knew a guy or our uncle. And if we were actually truly able to wipe away preconceptions and just look at it as a concept. So I usually take people through a little bit of this exercise, Tom. I say, imagine you're an alien and you just arrived on this planet, and this alien guy walks up to you and says, hey, I'm not from here. What are the ways to make a living on Earth? And you gave him a few examples. Okay, you can show up at this place. It's called a job. They're going to pay you some money. You'll be there all day, by the way. Like 80% of your week is going to be of your waking hours are going to be there. They'll pay you. Oh, and you can never stop, because if you stop getting paid. The alien's going to scratch his head and say, oh, okay, well, give me another option. Oh, you can have your own business. In your own business, you sink more time into that, and you actually sink money into it as well. Probably every last penny you have. You actually create yourself a job. It's a lot of stress. And no, you also can never leave it. Actually, you'll probably be working weekends. And they have a really high failure rate. But I mean, it's all right. You can risk losing everything. And the alien would say, are you nuts? Like, the job's sounding better. Is there no other way to earn a living? And I would say to the alien, look, there's this concept which the largest majority of independent millionaires have been made through this concept. It's called network marketing. Oh, what is? Tell me more. Basically get to work like it is your own business, but you don't have any of the risk because somebody else is paying the manufacturing, the overhead, the legals, the warehousing. You just get the product out, and actually you get to profit share somewhere around 50% with that company without any of the risk. Wow, how many millions do I need to put into that? Oh, it's like $100 sign up. That's it. What's the catch is what the alien would say, you know. And I think if you look at this model purely, it's just so simple. It makes complete sense. And then, of course, we insert our personality, our preconceptions, our fears, and we mess it up.
Great job of explaining that. So I'm going to plagiarize that myself. I like what you did there. So
I like the alien thing. So that's applicable just about to anything out there.
Anything. Yeah.
What I love about your book here is it does. You're the network marketing company you're with today is the same one Mark and I are associated with, ASEA, readout single molecules. When somebody's out there looking at opportunities, the network marketing's models give a lot of options for people, both in products and for services, all on the basic premise of taking all the risk away. Is you just have to share the good news, whatever that is, with your marketing. What was it about ASEA that caused you to say, I want to become part of this company?
Yeah.
It's important to understand that why is important when anybody's out there looking at opportunities. There's a lot of them out there, some better than others for one reason. But what was it about ASEA that caused you to say, this is where I want to plant my stake?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I tell you, it had to be very compelling because I really did not want to go into network marketing, though I stressed that enough. But there was too many things that I could not ignore, right, about ASEA. And this is what they are. Firstly, for the first time ever, because I had had so much success previously in network marketing that you can imagine every 5 minutes somebody was pitching me a new company. Every 5 minutes, right? And I was spoken about some fantastic products, and many products I buy. I if I can buy a product through network marketing, I would rather do that. I would rather support my neighbor, my friend, the other mom at the school. I'd rather buy those essential oils from her than from a large store. Like I'm all about small business, right? So but I never saw myself engaging as a distributor, right? Until I saw ASEA. And the reason is, firstly, because here was the first product I had seen that had truly no competitor. It wasn't just like a different version of something else. It had no competitor. So I didn't want to be in something where I was like, okay, check this out, Mark. I've got some headphones, and I know that they are really great headphones. And you should try my headphones. I know you have headphones, but these are better because they have this thing here. I didn't want to be that guy trying to point out why my XYZ was better than your XYZ. I wanted to basically be able to pick up my product and say, do you know about headphones? And for you to go, what is that? What is that? Oh my gosh, I don't have it. Where can I get it? And I could say, only here, only through me. Right? I wanted that kind of exclusivity because I've been in marketing, right? As I mentioned, I was the marketing director of a marketing firm, right? I was the managing director of a marketing firm for a time. And I just never saw a product with complete exclusivity until I saw ASEA, a legitimate product that had no competitor. That was the first thing. Secondly, I wanted to be in a point in time with a product that was had repetition, right? So it's no point me saying I'm gonna sell you like the most exciting watch or car or this incredible I don't know, lipstick, something that you're going to buy once. Like that's a lot of work that has no residual. So I wanted strategically something that you could not find anywhere else, that you were going to need all the time. And that was not a luxury product, but a necessity, right? So these are some just marketing things that are obvious to me. Now, my dad, for example, he's staying here with us right now. He has gone off 12 different medications thanks to being on this incredible biohack technology that we have with us here. And he has literally said, I would let them switch off my electricity before I stop taking that product. It makes me feel so good. So I wanted a product that was going to be not just like a fun thing that take it or leave it, but something that would become essential. But the truth is, aside from all of that, the biggest reason for me was the people, because I've seen some great companies be destroyed by management, by the people at the top, not knowing what they did. And I love the fact that ASEA was established, already been more than 10 years, so they've ironed out a lot of their kinks. But we're still, even though it's been going for 10 years, you still have the same corporate heads in place. Tyler Norton, a man of incredible quality and integrity, his corporate team around him, these are solid people. This is not their first rodeo. They have a huge success track record. and I could trust them with my family, like with my family's legacy and future. Because I've become nervous about, I think people should be nervous about spending their time if you don't know if something's going to be there in 5 years, or if those people keep switching in and out, or what their agenda is, or, you know, it's too risky to have to do something without solid foundations. So yeah, sorry about the long answer, but I think anybody, even if they're looking outside of ASEA, these are the things you're looking for. A product people cannot get anywhere else, that they're going to need all the time, and that is a necessity, not a luxury. And you want to look at the people you're involved with.
Great advice. That sort of sounds like she's BGF3 the third talking there.
That sounds like Benjamin Franklin Gay the third. Ben, I'm putting it out there when he started Holiday Magic, you know, when he was on with that. So, yeah.
And I love that.
With us tonight, what he saw as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a compliment.
Those are solid business principles that you should look at. Is not just the hype or the sizzle that a lot of companies have with their opportunity and products,
right?
But really evaluate what this product is, the need in the marketplace. Is it just a fad, or is it something that people will use for the long term? And that's how I looked at ASEA as well. I had a personal health issue around sore knees, and when I started taking the product and immediately saw the results, I said, I can't hold this back. I'm excited to share it because I think I have a moral obligation to share this technology with other people. It's not just another vitamin C or another nutritional product. It's something very unique that's making a difference in people's lives in more ways than we can express here in our interview here tonight. But so I know, Mark, you have some questions about the book. I'm going to put up.
I could be on here all night. You know, I too have read your book. There it is. And so, like, I love what you said on page 10. I'm just going to this is going to be a hodgepodge of questions, but you said network marketing can be a part-time hustle, but it also can be a big-time income. And you alluded to that earlier. And then you talked about not everybody makes it, but in network marketing, but also, did someone tell you that everybody makes it, or who gets into network marketing is wildly successful? And you said it's part of the real world, just like all the other professions on pages 10 and 11. I like how you laid everything out. And then you talk about family and friends. And I love the part where you said, here I have 4 boys, you know, I'm way down low here and I need money, I need income. And here I am questioning whether this is going to work. And your 4 sons. And, you know, I love how you shared that story. And you talked about being open-minded. You don't necessarily need to hit all your family and friends. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but, you know, if you go out and build it, you know, some folks will come around and say, hey, I need to go check this out. But what are this is the one that really got to me, page 12. And I'll say this slow. What are my chances of being successful without network marketing? And you can name the profession, the job you're in, if it's great. And I'm happy for everybody that's got one of those, you know, 6-figure plus jobs. My hat goes off to you. But that's the one that hooked me. And I'm like, wow, I need to think about that one.
Yeah.
Guess who jumped on? Dr. Silverman. Thank you, Doctor, for jumping on here.
Dr. David. And there's another.
I love David. David is one of my favorite people in the world. I hope he can hear this.
And that sort of goes back
to respond, you know.
Going back to the last thing you said, there is the quality of people in the company, not just who's running the company, but the people throughout it, like yourself, that are willing to give and help other people have that opportunity to succeed. And, you know, thank you much for writing the book. This applies not only to ASEA people, but anybody that's in network marketing or business in general. The principles are solid and well thought out. So I just want to let you know that as well. So that's one of the other reasons I got involved with this company. was meeting the leadership at the top, all the way down through active people like yourself in this business. It's so inspiring to have that quality of individuals that you can lean into to learn, and they're willing to help you succeed. That's uniqueness in itself. That's the go-giver principle that Bob Berg talks about. So
I love that. And you're right. There's a wonderful group of people, really generally in the industry, right? Not just in this company. Generally, network marketing attracts great people. And it attracts mavericks, people who are questioning the status quo, people who are trying to wake up from living lives like a zombie. They realize life is not a rehearsal, and they want to change things. They want to move ahead. And back to that that quote, Mark, that you pointed out, I think a lot of the time when I wasted a lot of my personal time getting started asking that question, going, I wonder if I can make this work. I wonder if this will work. Really, if you think about it logically, right? And I'm a fan of just pushing back into the logic. If you think about it logically, that kind of was a silly question because so many people had already and were already making it, right? They were already. So me wondering whether this business worked was, like, as David is saying, he's at ASEA Global headquarters and so many people already successful. Me wondering if this worked was ridiculous. It's kind of like, sitting there looking at a gym saying, is it really possible to build muscles in there? Yeah. Can one really lose weight working out? Yeah, there's plenty of evidence of that. What I did not have evidence is whether I could make this work. But the real question mark I had was, could I make this work as a single mom, as a person with the beliefs that I had, where my self-esteem was low? And the reality is the answer is no. I had to change. I had to make some changes to my belief, to my expectation, to my work ethic. I had to stop poking this like a hobby, treat it like a business. I mean, it's all the things that I talk about in the book that I wish I had done sooner, that I wish I had paid attention faster. But the reality is, if I hadn't made any of those changes, I know exactly where I would be. That's the reality. As adults, we have to have these conversations with ourselves. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I know you don't want to do this, but what option do you have? Where are you going to be if you don't do this? I know exactly where I would be, Mark. I would be in that little house in Sheridan Close, wondering how I pay the rent, wondering how I buy my boys shoes, looking at photos of Paris on my my kitchen door. I would be dreaming about stuff that was completely unavailable to me. I would be stuck working 3 jobs, never seeing my children.
And just to jump in on page 12 again, I'm sorry, I've written things out here, but
good. No, go for it.
You said network marketing is not a job; it's a business, and it works. And then I love the statistical data you threw at us in the book about 50% of people that start a brick and mortar traditional business wind up quitting. 95% quit, like before 10 years. You can see I'm reading my notes. I apologize. And you talk about a traditional small business, and that's why I really do have the utmost respect for a person that starts their own business. That takes a lot of courage.
Absolutely.
And it is a real gamble when you explore the facts, like you mentioned on page 16, and you go into the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I really appreciated you doing that. And then the main thing that really hooked me again is you talked about mindset. I've got to ask you, how did you develop it, number one? And number two, could you share some books that you read along your path?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just reading 2 of my favorites this morning. The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. That is one of the original books. And it's a very thin book, but it has so much gold in it. So Neville Goddard is definitely one of my favorites. And then my other super favorite is Bob Proctor, You Were Born Rich. And those two books, honestly, I think reading them over and over changed my life. Also, I love anything by Tony Robbins. I think he's a master of.
You mentioned that a lot in your book.
Yeah, I love him. Well, he was one of the big reasons why, before I had even seen a seer, and I was starting to get really frustrated with my life. I don't know if anyone's been there, but I was really starting to just waking up and just be disappointed with the day before it had even happened. I was waking up and I was already mad about it. And I would just go to bed exhausted and just really feeling trapped, and starting to feel suffocated because I thought, how's this ever going to end? This cycle I'm in of just work, and looking at my children. And there were some pivotal moments, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but there were little moments that really made me mad. Like this one moment, for example, I remember sitting at this Italian restaurant. And I'd been looking at it for a long time, and I thought, oh, let's go there. And it was someone's birthday, and I went there and I sat with my children. We opened the menu, and I realized immediately it was going to be my entire food budget to be able to, feed my kids. And so I said to them, well, get a couple of garlic breads and you boys share those. And I ordered some water, and I sat there the whole time at the restaurant watching my children share some garlic bread, looking around at all these other families, just drinking wine, having pasta, having a laugh. And I was mad. I was just mad. I was thinking, I have worked, maybe if I just sat around watching TV for the last 20 years, this would be fair, but I haven't. I've been working my guts out for these boys. I can afford garlic bread and water. Are you kidding me? For somebody like me, that just fired me up, because I thought, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. I'm not doing this. So these experiences, and sometimes we think that the things that hurt us damage us, but the things that hurt us sometimes are the things that fuel us and propel us. And that point of pain, that point of discomfort, it can be a huge motivator, and when I started working my business as a business, and I could taste that this was my opportunity to give my children that life. Right. And, just to prove a point, I went back to that exact restaurant many years later, and it was, I think it was my brother's birthday. And I invited my brother, my dad, my mom, like all their kids. I had like 2 big tables. And just out of principle, I said, get what you want. It's on me. I just wanted to feel, I wanted wins. I think we all want wins in this life, and that might be like a small thing. That might seem like a silly thing. But for me, there have been so many moments of completion like that, where the before and after. And I want more people to have the after.
Yeah, and just real quick, and Tom, I'll be quiet, but you talked about dream versus why in page 19. You're in a proven business system that works. You indicate that, and it continues to pump out the largest number of millionaires. Stop acting like it's on trial. It already has worked for hundreds, thousands of people around the world, and it continues to work today. And that just like really started clicking in my little pea brain. And, I really appreciate you writing this. And, I'm embarrassed to tell you, I'm reading it for the second time, and, just so I can grasp some more.
No. I'm so flattered. I'm so flattered.
I wish I would have had that book maybe 11 years ago, but that's just the luck of the draw. And the other thing I wanted to point out, like I know Dr. David gets on here and he gives a lot. I know he's a golfer. I will wager to say that during his path, maybe he gave up some golf to get where he really wanted to get to. Because I know today he's hitting that round sphere, and if that's your passion other than doing this. And I loved how you mentioned that you didn't get in this to do this. I mean, I don't think anybody dreams of, hey, I'm going to get into network marketing. Yeah. It's not your do all end all, but Tom always talks about the why. And Could you share more? I know you talked about your sons and your children. Now you have 7, so I can't even fathom that. I just have 2 boys, but can you share with us what that's like now, that you can do the things you want to do versus when you couldn't? You touched on it.
Look, I'm a huge believer in freedom, and we have the image of freedom in many ways in our countries. You know, we have the perception of freedom, but then in many ways we are slaves to our mortgage, we're slaves to the banks, we're slaves to debt, we are slaves to the alarm clock. I mean, I don't use that word lightly, I use it with respect. But we are all have these masters that we serve. And I think that whatever we can do to create and to move towards freedom, when David gets up and says, I'm going to go golfing next week, and he goes with his friends for a week, that's freedom. You know, when I started to taste real freedom again, I realized that I have a real thirst to do life, you know, big, to do life big. And I think especially in ASEA, and if you're involved in the health industry, you see so many people fighting for their lives, like legitimately struggling with their health and fighting for their lives. And if anything, that has just made me more hyper aware how precious this precious time is that we have. And I wrote this book because I want to save people pain and time and effort and all the silly things I did, wasting my time waiting to get started, doubting if I could get started, poking at this for a while. Time is so precious. Our life is so precious. My why has always been to have freedom and to have choices. And I just had our youngest son, and I'm part of this mother's group. And you know what? Every one of them but me has had to go back to work. And we're there, we're chatting on the thread, and as these women, and some of them want to, but I could tell you truly, most people don't. Most people don't. And I love what Robert is saying. I have a burning desire to love on people. I'm like you, Robert. Like, I love people. And I say, I think in my book, if I could have a magic wand to help people get to where they want to be, use the magic wand. But I don't have that. And I just try to take everything out from my heart, from my brain, everything it's not my learning, it's learning I've taken from other people, from leaders, from people like David, from people like Danny, from legends in the industry, around the industry. And I've just wanted to put everything in one place to help people get through this life of lack of choices, lack of freedom. My why is to create freedom for my family and for other families. Absolutely a hot button. And you can hear how passionate I am about it. And I want this book to be read. My hope is the book to be read like with my voice, like kind of shouting at you, you know, like, come on, you can do this.
No, it comes out there, and as you're reading it, because now that I've met you here and reading it, you definitely make points like, hey, why are you even questioning this?
Yeah,
It works.
I just want to hug people and shake them and like be there with them and hopefully and motivate them, you know?
May I make a comment to something you said, Mark, when you were reading the points about this industry has made more millionaires than any other type of business model out there. And I think lots of times that's what gets people scared. They can't comprehend what that really means. And I think financial freedom is really what would an extra $500 to $1,000 do for most families. It'd be significant. It would change the trajectory of what they maybe experience, something of freedom for the very first time, of not worrying how they're going to pay a utility bill or have the new cost of groceries and those things that we're being plagued with today. That gives you freedom. So lots of times we get hung up on the big picture versus let's break it down to the smallest. And I think that's where we can have the greatest impact to make a difference in people's lives, not only with the product, but with the opportunity, giving people hope. Hey, if you can learn how to make $500 to $1,000 consistency, that changes a lot of things in your financial dynamics. I was a financial coach, and I know where most families are today. They have less than $500 of discretionary income. It doesn't afford them any opportunity to deal with emergencies or circumstances that come up outside their ability to do it. That's why American people are in debt. You know, they're financing their wishes and their dreams and some of their needs on credit, and that's financial disaster. So $500 to $1,000 is a realistic life changer for people. And I think that's part of my mission. Is not just, hey, I share the concept. If you can make $2,500 a month of residual income, that's equivalent to $1 million business asset.
Yeah.
So
Tom,
and that's
that's
only a 3% return on your money. So it's just changing the reference and framework of what business is and what wealth is. People get hung up on the big number.
Right.
They've never been around big money or big wealth, and they can't comprehend. They can't see themselves doing that. But we can see ourselves making $250 or $300 or $500 a month.
Yeah.
That's an outstanding point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's why even sitting at a restaurant, and I make the small point of just the difference between being able to afford garlic bread and a bowl of pasta. You know, that already is abundance. You know,
yes.
I wasn't at the time looking for a new house or $1 million or a fancy car. You know, I was trying to make rent. I was trying to feed my children. I was trying to buy them shoes. But the path to, if somebody is looking for that great big financial freedom, it starts with $500, and it starts with showing other people how to make $500. You know, we can make such a big impact very, very quickly. I'm a big believer. I think I say it a few times. I think it should only take a few weeks to start changing your life, right? To start creating an income. But to totally transform your life, you need 1 year, and you won't even recognize yourself. In 1 year, you won't even recognize who you are.
Yep. And I love the fact that that's a realistic, it's not overnight. Nothing happens overnight other than when the sun goes down, right? And sun rises. So that's the only thing that happens overnight. So part of what I love about ASEA, their underlying message of what they're about is a corporate mission statement. We power potential. So they know that people is the most important entity, not only with the product, they want to make an impact with the product and change people's lives in that arena with this technology, but they also want to make and help people improve their fullest potential. And that's what you're an example of that. And people like David Silverman and other leaders in the company, that's so important. So in the last chapter, grow or get left behind. Can you expand on that?
Well, if I dive a little bit into that, let's say this. If I already was the person I need to be to accomplish the things I want to accomplish, I would already have them. And that can apply at any stage, right? Right now, I have some bigger goals. And if I was already exactly who I needed to be, if I knew everything, if I had all the skills, then I would already have those goals. The accomplishment of greater things in my life will require a greater level of growth from me. And I think we have it the other way around sometimes. We think, well, when all these things happen, I will change. No, it's the other way around. When I change, all these other things will happen. And the reality is that I haven't seen anybody grow in a business or in any endeavor to reach success without demanding a large level of personal growth. And why is that? Because you will be tested. You will have questions. You will have doubts. You will have naysayers in anything. This isn't about a business. This is about life. And if you don't have the conviction, if you don't have the focus, if you don't have the belief, that's the big one, then at any moment you're going to be taken out. So we must grow. in order to accomplish more. We want more, we need to become more. And I saw this happening. I see this happen time and time and time again, where talented, well-connected, well-prepared people with high educations, with all this, refuse to change. And they just they can't see why their businesses and why they don't advance to their goals. And then you have a guy who comes along with less opportunity, less connections, less support, more hardship, but they're willing to grow. They're willing to put the work on themselves, the personal development, the belief, and you see their life just flourish. And it really comes down to that. We get in life not what we want, but we get in life what we expect. And growth is all about changing our expectations, our belief, our mental capacity, our internal fortitude, and that is a fountain from which everything will grow.
Yeah, I'm just going to expound on just what you said there. You mentioned Bob Proctor, his business partner, Sandy Gallagher.
Mm.
People get success tied up with, I call the ornaments of life, the cars and the houses and the beach homes and all the travel and all that type, be able to buy whatever they want when they want, get all hung up on that. And that's a definite success. And you just said this, real success should be looked at it this way. It's who you become along the way. You can't get to a certain place until you grow and change from the internal out. Mm. And so you said it well. So success sometimes is improperly defined. I believe what Sandy Gallagher says is who you become along the way. As we get better, we can do better and do more things. So it takes growth, takes that personal, but you have to make that investment in changing your perception, your beliefs, and what it takes, getting coaches, reading books, taking mentorship from people like yourself that have been down the path and can give you that wisdom to help you get over the hump is so much important. And that's what I love about, I don't forget who said this, in one of the leaders in the companies, is a C is wrapped up as personal development wrapped up in a business opportunity. So it's all in one. So
yeah.
And you're an example of that, is wanting to share your wisdom by writing this book to help the ASEA family as well as anybody else is out there. I'd encourage anybody that's watching this, tag and share.
Oh, absolutely. Robert's been writing novels here, but he said because life flows forward, Did you know, you don't know who George Allen is, but you kind of stole a page out of his book. You said, because if we are not growing, we are already dying. And if you think about George, and I love that one because that resonated with me, because George Allen always said, when you win, you're kind of reborn. And when you lose, you die a little. Now, he was an extremist. He was a winning streak. He said, not that you die, you might lose like a kidney or a lung. But he would put that in the context to his football team about winning and losing. And he would harbor, I know Tom knows who he is. This guy would harbor over, and that was his job. He was an NFL coach, had one of the highest winning ratings out there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, to this day, but master psychologist that he was. But I really appreciate, the end there on page 80, what you say, and what Tom touched on. So that's all I have to tell you. It's a great book. And
thank
I've
you.
never read anything like that about this industry, the way you put it together, and
well, I appreciate the two of you helping to get this out and highlight it. And the truth is, there is no shortage of information now. We're in a super saturated world. If somebody's saying, but how do I grow? You have access to so many audibles. There is so much on YouTube. You can get a lot of great content from Bob Proctor, from Tony Robbins. You can be listening to these guys. Who would you rather listen to, yourself or them? You could be putting this stuff into your head all day long. I follow, I listen to Masterclass. That's another kind of app I use to listen. There are apps that send you motivational stuff every day. You can read, you can listen, you can get into podcasts. Like, we have no shortage of information for the person who's decided to grow. Just get yourself into that fertile environment and watch your life change. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when your net worth is the value of the 5 people you hang around with and how they think and believe. So up your game, start changing your environment is what I say. And that
Yes.
environment includes the people you hang with. If you want to grow and the people you're hanging with don't have desire to grow, you need to change your circle in a very significant way. Not that they're bad people or anything like that, but they're not there to support your growth. You just remind them that don't want to lose you. That's what's usually about. It's just reminding them where they're at, and they just want to bring you down. So, Mark, I know you got a hard stop coming here.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, let the birthday celebration begin.
Yes, go for it.
I'm afraid to ask how old she is. No, I know. It's my wife, Gina. So yeah.
Oh, well, wish her a happy birthday from us.
I will. She is, and she's Greek, so I don't want to keep her waiting. Or
do not do that.
No.
Do not.
But
well,
here. Thank you so much again for writing the book and sharing this evening, because I know this message will get out there. And thank you, Tom, for what you do, because you guys keep me going.
Well, I thank you both. You're both it's wonderful to listen to. I'm so excited that I got to be here with you guys. I'm very humbled and honored for this invitation. And once again, this book is not from my own learning. I share it with gratitude from everybody that's sown into my life and helped me on my journey. So I'm just putting it forward. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Tremendous.
Wonderful. Well, Mark, I know you got a birthday dinner to take care of, whatever the case is. I'm going to put Christina in the green room. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up here in a second. Okay.
Okay.
Another reason why I'm part of ASEA is the quality of people, and she's an example of what ASEA is about, and willing to give and share to help people become better. So again, thank you, Cristina. So I encourage people to get her book. You can get that. Just go to Amazon, put in her name, Cristina Williams. You'll be able to see the book. So, and share it out there. So pay it forward. Absolutely. So Mark, in closing, any other comments you'd like to make?
I think that, and I will say it, since baseball's coming up, Cristina hammered it out of the park. In other words, she knocked it out of the park. Since in this country, baseball is getting ready to happen soon, and definitely hit a home run tonight. No two ways about it. I think you can take what's in this book and apply it just about to anything, if you really, read into what she outlines in the book. Good stuff. Robert Brooker, you're a monster on comments, and we love you.
Thank you, Robert. Just share this out, my friend.
Wes White is saying hello to us down below, if you check. He says, good evening, gents. Yeah.
Hey, good evening, Wes. I hope you're doing well, buddy.
And catch Wes, catch his show, catch him helping out Randy Chafee, making his things happen and building wins. And that's the man behind the scenes, but he's also out there in the forefront with his own deal. So check out Wes.
Again, thank you, everybody that was here tonight. So with that all said, elevate your profits. It all starts right here. How you think. Start changing your thinking, change your results, and your life will change as well. So have a great one, everybody. We'll wrap it out with we'll exit with our ASEA commercial, okay?